So it looks like we're live. This video has been a long time coming. Man, I remember when I first put this out there. If there's any problems with the audio, please let me know, but I think everything is okay. It's the first time that I've been using this different encoder, seeing as the one that I bought turned out not to be too fresh, and it ended up breaking, and I had to send it off for repair. And of course, the people that I bought it from, they didn't send it back to me in time, so I had to buy a different one, so I've been figuring it out. But I think it's working okay, so obviously let me know. I'm checking the chat out on my phone, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, I got some strange, fresh reason that this is going to be a bit of a busy live stream. Maybe it's something to do with a certain Omega watch that everybody's been waiting for, but who knows. So shout going out to Ross, of course. Hey Ross, glad that you're in the chat. Nick Nameless, who else have we got here? Lucas, Trevor, what's that? Christbo? Fresh, of course, definitely fresh. Elder's here. It's nice to see some regular names. I hope everybody's week has been good. Mine has been okay, even though the weather has been absolutely horrendous, guys. I had to go to Amsterdam yesterday. I met up with a friend of mine who runs a watch store, a vintage watch store. Shout out to Lawrence. It was nice to catch up with him and have coffee and relax, but man, the drive there was intense. It was like driving through a tsunami or something. It was not normal, it's not fresh, but it had to be done. Hey Mark, glad that you are here all the way from Raleigh in the US. I hope the weather's a lot better for you than it is here, because here it's freezing, man. Oh man, I just cannot get warm whatsoever. Hey Joseph, good to hear that you're another Enneka fan. That's good. Shout to Moto Matt, another Matt. Super fresh name, of course. Hey brother, looking forward to my first live stream with you. Well, it's a little bit different to the usual live streams that I do, because usually I'm tearing down a watch. But instead, on this one, I'm just talking to you guys for the next half an hour or so, drinking my tea, trying to get warm. And then of course I'm going to do that drawer as well for that watch. Some dude in Finland. Greetings to you too. Yeah, it is, Elder. It's absolutely cold, man. Oh, there's another guy from Finland as well. Man, a lot of people from the US as well. Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Oh. Trevor's saying, I'm just thinking that I need a desk like that. Thinks how to get the wife to agree. Well, to be honest, you can kind of pull a fast move on this one. Because this is one of these, you can adjust the height, so it's really good for watchmaking, so that you can, it's from IKEA. They're not terribly expensive, and there's a winder on the side, so you can actually adjust the level of the desk as much as you want. It's absolutely perfect for the kind of things that we do. So you can get it really up to like head height, for depending on what you're doing. I have it a little bit lower because I'm always using a scope, but it works for everybody. It's really, really good desk. So I highly recommend it. So the next time you're at IKEA, you can kind of just pull out a fast move and say, hey, you know, maybe we should get one of these as well. It's a good idea. Turin says, where am I based out of? I am in the Netherlands, and it's absolutely freezing. And I'm probably moaning too much about it, because I'm sure it's going to get a lot colder in the next 2 months. How come I'm so cold? Because it's damn cold, Ross. I don't know if I'm coming down with something or something like that, but the weather's just been crappy, man. It's just constantly wet and raining, and it's just not nice whatsoever. Warm welcome from Poland. I bet it's a lot colder over there. I'm going to stop talking about the weather. Nick says IKEA is fresh. Well, no, man, I absolutely disagree. Seriously, I absolutely cannot stand the place. It's full of kids, and they're all, the way that you have to walk around like sheep in that certain order, no man, it's not for me. If I have to go to IKEA, yeah, I'll check online exactly where the aisle is that I need to pick up the thing from, and I'm in and out like 5 minutes. Like I could win a prize for how quick I am in regards to picking up what I need to pick up. Yeah. Oh, 4 degrees in Toronto. Okay, I should definitely stop moaning, because it's more than 4 degrees here, but it is cold. Yeah, so Elder, you're in the Netherlands as well, so you're actually agreeing with me that it is absolutely cold here as well. So yeah. Larry's coming all the way from Missouri in the US. Stay warm, everyone. Hi from, oh, a lot of US people over here. Hi from Tennessee. ADV Matt is saying, I'm sending some of my 30 degrees at 10 a.m. from Mexico. Man, I would love some 30 degrees. I've got my body warmer on and everything. Oh. Ken says that it's exactly the same in North Wales as is in Amsterdam. Yeah. Hey, Alan, all the way from Joburg in South Africa. And you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys have gone into summer now. So you must be having some really nice weather down there. Hey, Matthew, good to see you. You sound far too British talking about the weather. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's horrible. Geen zuiderbalen voor mij. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor's basically saying, I'm not sure if I'm allowed back into IKEA. I used to move the arrows around. That actually sounds kind of funny, man. Yeah, send them all on like a mad detour and everything. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say a super big thank you to all of the subscribers to the HB channel. I didn't think that it was going to take off as good as it has. I mean, it was only, I think around August time, I had around like 4,000 of you guys. And then I wanted to lay out this like 10,000 subscriber kind of live stream. And then now that's turned into like 13.5. So I was like, really like, wow. I mean, a couple of videos did really well. Obviously the AliExpress one and the Amazon one. And I think they've done well because of the type of watches they are. And they definitely accommodate to everyone, which is really cool. And I think it's also interesting as well to try and tackle a really, really cheap watch to see if you can actually get it a little bit better. So guys, again, thank you so much for supporting this channel. It really means a lot to me. It's a lot of work, I'm not going to lie, with all of the editing and everything, but you guys make it worth it, and I really, really appreciate it. I really, really do. Donnie's in here, shout out from Western Canada. And then he even emphasizes for everybody that's not as educated that it's in British Columbia. Thanks for that. Almost at 15K. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, it has basically started making me think about bigger things. I want that 100K. And that sounds mad unrealistic, you know. I want one of those silver things. That's what I want. I want a silver thing for the wall. But who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, 3 years. I don't know how long something like that would take, even if it would happen. But yeah. But then it started getting me thinking, maybe I should do another giveaway as well, like for 100K. So stay tuned for that, because it might be something that I do. And if I rack my brain to it and everything, I think if I did like a 100K subscriber kind of live stream thing, then it would have to be something like a pretty damn nice watch that I would have to give away, which is not a problem. But at least I have quite a decent amount of time to think about that, because I don't think it's going to be something that's going to happen anytime soon. Wristwatch check. Yes, Mark. What's everybody wearing? Tell me, what are you guys wearing? I will start. So today, you guys saw it anyway. I dropped a picture of it in the comments. I don't know if you guys... I'm going to take it off so you can see it, because I've only got the one camera set up, and then I've got my iPad set up so that I can use the comment picker, because I want you guys to fully see that. So I don't know if you guys are going to see this. Probably not. It's probably going to be too dark. But if you look in the community section, there is a picture of it. This is the Kellic Jump Hour chronograph automatic watch from the early 1970s. And this watch really is the first jump hour chronograph watch, automatic chronograph watch that was ever made. And I absolutely love it. And there's a weird story behind this, like a small story anyway. So I had one of these years ago, and I sold it. I flipped it. And I regretted it immensely, because I loved it and I was really disappointed that I did that. And then the weird thing was, a couple of years ago, on like an eBay equivalent, in the Netherlands, we have this website called Marktplaats. It's kind of like, I think like for most of the guys, you've heard of like Gumtree and things like that. It's like a local secondhand site. And it popped up, no lie, 5 minutes away from my house. I had to buy it. It wasn't running good, but the condition of it was a lot better than the condition of the original one that I had. So yeah, I had to put some watches away, and then I saw this little bag and I was like, man, what's in this little bag? And I opened it and this was inside and I completely just forgot about it. So I thought, right, I'm taking this out. This is going to be worn now for the winter because it needs some wrist time and it's a really, really nice watch. Right, let me see what everybody's rocking. Okay, so I'm scrolling back. So Wes is wearing his Seiko Solar Diver. Nice. We have a Domesco DS30. Not that familiar with that. You're going to have to show me a picture of that. Ah, I know the Seiko Captain Willard. Yeah, I know that one. What have we got? Elder's got working his Omega Genève. You're going to need to be a bit more specific about that, bro. We have also got Casio's in the house. Nothing wrong with Casio. Isn't it, what's his name? Nico Leonard. He refers to it as God tier. I'm not sure about that, but definitely really, really good watches. We have got 55th anniversary Seiko 5 on a black rally strap, and that's from Bandwagon 240. Nice. Mark's wearing his Explorer 2, still in the honeymoon phase. Yeah, I know, I got your email, and it looks really nice. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this like the second one that you've bought now? Being a bit greedy? We got an IWC Bronze Spitfire chronograph. That sounds mad fresh. Congratulations. Rick's rocking his Psycho King Turtle. It's his daily beater. Trevor's wearing his Oris 1970s. Bag of crud at the moment. But it's working and it makes him smile. And guys, that's what it's all about. If the watch makes you happy, that's what it's all about, man. Like, wear it, enjoy it, love it. Definitely. Alan's rocking his blue dial Seiko 7002. Crispo has got a Seiko 5 on today. Man, there's a lot. Everybody's rocking Seikos today. What's going on? Bandwagon's wearing his Monk Turtle for the win. Rocket, bro. Momentum M1 Deep 6, my weekend beater from Moto Matt. Oh, this one I like from, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Kata Atto. I've got a Hamilton Khaki Navy Blue. I love Hamilton watches, seriously. You know that I always say this to people, like if somebody asks me and they're new to watches and they say, oh, I want to get a watch, but I don't want to spend crazy amount of money, but I want something new, reliable. I always say, go Hamilton. Either go Hamilton or go Seiko, whichever one you prefer. But for like, if you want Swiss on the dial, I mean, even though it's Hamilton and it's, okay, it's negligible regarding the Swiss part. I mean, they do obviously use the ATA movements, but they're solid watches. I mean, they really are. I've had many Hamiltons over the years, and I think they're super affordable for what they are, and they are really, really good daily watches. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Oh man, there's so many comments. Why am I not surprised? I'm wearing my Swatch Suno 712 as a charm. Enjoy it. My Swatch story. My Swatch has a story too. If you want, I can tell you. I mean, you can tell you can spit it out if it's short. Yeah, by all means. Joseph. Oh, finally we get an Enica in the house. Even I'm not wearing an Enica, which is, yeah, a bit surprising. I've got on my Enica Sherpa Jet Graph Mark IV that I bought in 1969. Wow, you actually bought it. So I'm assuming you bought it new. Recently had it serviced and it's going strong again. Also, when in Switzerland this summer, I visited the factory in Lengnau. Yeah, I've also visited as well. Did you actually get to go inside or was it just from the outside? I was lucky because I know a guy that works there now. Because Atlantic Watches is in there now. And I'm friends with a guy who works for there. So I kind of got like a mini tour of how it is inside. And for those that don't know, inside the original Enica factory, the people that are in there now, they kept a lot of the traditional Enica details. I'm not lying, guys. You look at some of the conference room door handles and they're made out of brass, like big door handles. And above them, they've actually got the satin logo embossed into them. And it's one of those really subtle things, like if you don't look, you'll miss it. But man, those kind of little attention to details that Enica obviously did, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But a really nice place to visit, really is. What else? Tissot Gentleman Blue Dial is my favorite at the moment, wearing it daily. That's from Brian. Yeah, also really, really good brand, Tissot. Nothing wrong with that. We got a 1978 Rolex Sigma dial, date just on a bubble logo, which is this on a 65210 bracelet. Excellent. More Casios, more Orises. Wearing my Tissot PR50 chronograph. Nice, that's from Mike. Brian is in Istanbul right now, probably with some damn nice weather as well. Yeah, and he's rocking his Mission Impossible Casio, his vacation watch, I'm assuming. Man, there's a lot of watches. Okay, Dr. Jerry is wearing an Apple Watch. This camera's not frozen. I'm genuinely just like, he's wearing his Apple Watch, guys. I will let the comments come. I'm only joking. Wear your Apple Watch, man. If you want, you can enjoy it. I think I even have a HB mug saying the iWatch is not a watch. What else we got? Seiko Data 2000. Jack Parsons Laboratory. I'm wearing the first watch I made. At its heart is an ATA 2824. Super robust daily beater movement. It is a really, yeah, the 2824 or the 2824-2. Yeah, absolute workhorse of a movement. And I'm more intrigued to know about I'm wearing the first watch I made. So, yeah, that's super impressive. Oh, back to Elder. So it is Omega Genève 1963 from my dad. Oh, that's nice, man. I always think it's really nice that people have these watches. And I love it when I get emails from people who have watches that belong to a family member. I recently got an email from somebody in Australia. They have an Aquagraph, a Mark 1 or a Mark 2. I'm not 100% sure because I only saw a small photograph of it. And it was the lady's late husband's. And she wants me to look at it for her. And I said I would because she wants to basically... It needs a lot of attention, believe me, guys. It's missing a bezel and everything. But she wants to keep it in the family, and she wants to give it, keep it within the family. So I thought that was really nice. And it's really nice to hear that as well. I really like it when people do that. It's not about, oh, how much is it worth? How much can I get for this? It doesn't matter. It's a family heirloom, so to speak. And I think that's a really nice thing. Janos is wearing his Invicta Pro Diver. We got Kevin here. Hey dude, good luck to all of your subscribers. I'm actually watching on the train from Edinburgh. I had a wonderful time and a pint with Andrew Wrigley from Wham. Lovely guy. Okay, I don't know if that's for real or what, but it just tickled me so much. Yeah, that was probably the last thing that I could imagine that you were actually going to write to me right about now. But that's really good. Did he sing? I'm curious. Oh, man. Oh, sorry, Mark, to hear that the first deal fell through, but at least you got sorted in the end. But I'm still completely blown out about the Andrew Wrigley thing. Ooh, 1949 Hamilton, His Majesty. Larry Cooper is saying, I'm wearing 2 freckles and hair. In other words, right now, I'm watchless, which is not super fresh. No, sir, it's not. I feel naked if I don't have a watch on. It's a really strange feeling. What else have we got? Man, so many comments, man. I wonder why. Hamilton for the win before Seiko. Yeah, I must admit, I do like that. Ooh, Matthew has got on his Omega Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen watches, they're really nice. I've had many of those. As a friend of mine, he's a watch dealer in the UK. And he has a lot of Dirty Dozens come his way. And when it comes to Dirty Dozen, for people that don't know, there were 12 of these watches. And some of them are a lot easier to find than the others. And there's one in particular which is the most difficult and the most expensive, and that is the Grana. And I think there was only like 500 or something of those. I might be wrong on the numbers, but I know for definite that that is the rarest of all of the 12. So my advice is, if you want to start a full Dirty Dozen collection, try and get the grana first. If you get that, then the rest is easy. It will be a hell of a lot easier than doing it the other way, because there's a lot of people out there who have probably got 11 and then that's it. Oh, we have an Enica Ultra Dive in here as well. That's really nice to know. Definitely. What else have we got? Favorite diver in my little collection, the Venerable Orange Bezel Orient Mako XL from 2011. I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds nice. Crespo says, my Enica is currently in pieces while I wait for a new set in lever spring. That's really sad to hear. It's nothing worse than a poor Enica that is all in bits. But at least you know what's wrong with it. And like you mentioned, at least you've got the spring coming. So I'm sure it'll get sorted out really soon. Oh man, there's some really nice watches in here, guys. You guys have been busy. Damn, really busy. Yeah, by the way, just another quick, I made it really clear, and I see that a lot of people have. So I'm going to use a comment picker in regards to giving away this Omega Bumper. And you need to leave a comment on the AliExpress video, because I found that I'm using a comment picker to choose. So I can take the video link for that video. I can put it into the comment picker and then I can choose. So if you haven't left a comment in the AliExpress video, please do. If you have already, you don't need to do it again, because there is an option on this comment picker that says delete duplicates or do not, filter duplicates, which I will clearly be doing, because I have also noticed that there's been some unscrupulous dudes that have been leaving mad duplicate comments, and I've had to be deleting a lot of stuff, which is, yeah, been a little bit shady, but I know how it can be. What else have we got? Man, I cannot read all of these. Wearing my Omega Genève Megasonic. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Wow. Damian Marley is rocking his 1889 Elgin pocket watch. Wow, it doesn't get much older than that, guys. My God, that is really old. Damn. What else have we got? So Oscar is asking, am I looking for vintage, either an Omega or a Tudor? Where is the best place to find 100% originals and serviced or need to be serviced? Well, I mean, you asked a lot within that. My advice is, if you're wanting to buy something like that, find yourself a dealer that ideally you know somebody personally that has had dealings with. Because unfortunately in this world, there are a lot of shady people, and when it comes to especially vintage watches, there's a lot of things that actually can go wrong. There's a lot of parts that could have been changed. You guys, obviously, you all know about franking watches, marriage watches. I don't know to go into those specifics. And I really do believe that when it comes to vintage watches, word of mouth is more important than anything. If you know someone that's had a really, really good experience with like a dealer, etc., and they speak highly of them, like they had no problems, or even if they did have a problem and the dealer dealt with it, respectfully, then that's a really good sign. So my first point I would say is, if you know somebody. If you don't know anybody, then it's all about really just doing your due diligence, really focus in on the type of watch that you want, and rather than just going in there and seeing it for the first time and going, oh yeah, that's okay, I'll buy that one. Don't agree to it there and then. Take some pictures of it. I shouldn't think that they would have a problem with you doing that, or at least get the reference numbers for it, and then do your research afterwards. The thing nowadays, I mean, obviously even in my time, which makes it so easier, is that we have the internet. So there's a massive amount of information out there where we can just basically see all of this information. It makes it a hell of a lot easier than how it would have been obviously like 30, 40 years ago, for example. So yeah, so that's my best advice. Number one, definitely word of mouth. Word of mouth is invaluable. What else have we got? Hopefully a spam bot doesn't win. Well, that's the other thing I was going to say as well. It's not going to be that easy for spam bots, because when I do this draw, I will be making it very clear that the person needs to contact me via the About section. When they email me, so I can say this, full transparency here, when they email me, I will ask them to edit their original comment with something that I'm going to say just to them in the email. And then I will need to see that in their comment that they've edited it and they've added, so that I know 100% that that is the person that's emailed me, because obviously only that person can edit that comment. And I really think that's the best and the fair way to do it. It's sad it has to be like this, but come on, I want to do it right. And I think that's a good way of doing it. That's the way I was advised anyway. What else do we get? Get me to your dealer. No, not having my dealer. It's not happening. These watches are not the watches you are looking for, said the droid. Said the droid. What's this? What are you saying, Ross? Matt, request from others for your history. My history? What do you mean my history? The deep down bowels of HB. I don't know. What do you want to know? I'm wearing my 1943 14-karat gold Omega Bumper watch inherited from my grandfather. Wow, you're lucky. I never got a watch from my granddad. He used to give me a lot of chocolate though, but yeah, I would have liked a watch, definitely. What kind of tea am I drinking? I'm drinking some green tea with lemon. Seriously, I am. I'm not lying. I'm really addicted to it. It's really nice. Like, I drink this a lot. So, like, I love coffee, but I will only have, like, 2 or 3 a day. Like, otherwise, I start feeling too wired and, yeah, like, not good, you know. So, and I will stop drinking coffee after, like, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Otherwise, I'm going to be up all night. It really affects me. So then I will just drink, like, just herbal tea. And I like the green tea with lemon, so it's pretty fresh. I recommend. In a HB mug as well. Yeah. You gotta have it in one of those. What's this guy saying? Sorry, I had to go pick up my first package from Cousins UK. How's it going? It's going pretty fresh. Welcome. Glad you got your package and everything worked all right. I don't buy that much from those guys, to be honest. Mainly just because of the import fees. So supplier stuff I usually get from Germany, because then I don't have to pay any import tax. But obviously stuff coming from the UK, that's now obviously a big pain because of the B word. So yeah. But you voted for it. I didn't. I want to know how you ended up in the Netherlands. You sound to me like you're from Northern England. Originally, I am from the UK. I am. But I've lived over here for nearly 20 years now. And I get a lot of comments about my accent, and it is quite messed up, I understand that, but I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I try to go back to the UK once or twice a year. This year, last time I was in the UK was in February. And yeah, by the looks of things now, I'm not going to be there until next year. Had a bit of a family situation, but everything is okay, so that's good. Yeah. It will be next year, I think, that I will be back over there. But yeah, I moved over here in, I think it was 2005, 2006. And I never intended to stay in this country for that long. But one, it's not too far from the UK. And secondly, time just goes, you know. And then what happened was, you start noticing the differences between, like, the UK, for example, and how things work there and how things work in the Netherlands. And there are a lot of things that I like how it works over here. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that I don't like how things work over here. But if I weigh up the odds, yeah. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, time just goes. And before you know it, another year's gone by. And you're like, oh, wow, another year's gone by. Now I've been here 3 years, or now I've been here 4 years. And so it's a bit strange, like I said, but it's been many, many years that I've been here, so that's why. What else have we got? What is your favorite cheap watch make? Depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about brand new, I'm not I don't have many brand new watches. I'm pretty much purely vintage, so I'm not sure I can really answer that. Again, like I mentioned to somebody else, if I was going to recommend like a cheaper new watch, I would go for like a new Seiko or a Hamilton, even though Hamilton, I mean, you can still get like some decent Hamilton quartz for a few hundred, but obviously it depends what budget you're talking about. I'm not a fan of these homage watches, as you guys probably already know anyway. I do not like them whatsoever, like these whole San Martins and Paginis or whatever they are. I'm not a fan in regards to what they stand for, because they're just copying a high-end brand. I get why people buy them, but I still don't understand. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't understand why people would want to have one of those. I'd rather have the real thing, and if I cannot afford the real thing, and there's a lot that I cannot afford, believe me, then I'd rather just not have not have something that's not the real thing, if that makes sense. But vintage-wise, cheap. Cetina's a really good vintage brand, and you can get many vintage Cetina watches for a really affordable price. A lot of the like DS2s, things like that. Also Enica as well. Some of the Enica watches, as you know, they're not that expensive. Some are obviously, but I definitely highly recommend the Enica Sherpa Ds. Compressor cases. I think they're 38mm. They look really nice on the wrist. They're kind of like a bit of a cross between like a diver and a dressy kind of watch. And you can get those easily for like 300, 350, 400, depending on condition. And they're really, really nice. And they all come with all mad 70s different dials, and they look well cool. So what else are we saying? Blank Faces says, I caught you live. Super fresh. Well done. I'm happy that you did. I'm loving the fake restoration videos at the moment. Yeah, I did a series on those. Like I've done about 5. I don't think I'm going to do any more of those reaction videos. But I did notice that people did seem to find them a bit funny. I just got frustrated with seeing all of those crazy videos where they swap they blatant. I personally think, I mean, there's many theories behind it, but I personally think they have 2 of the same watch. And when I did my own fake restoration video, I also had 2 fake watches. And one of them is behind me there, that gold watch. So I destroyed one, and then I had a good one, obviously, and then just swapped it on the camera. So yeah, not very difficult to do, and I'm pretty sure they do. But what baffles me is, I don't understand how those guys get so many views. It's not normal. Orville says, I've heard people in the Netherlands smoke a lot of wacky backy. To be honest, yeah, I mean, it's decriminalized here. It's not strictly legal, let's say, but it's decriminalized, so to speak, so you can buy it in certain like designated places. But I'll be honest, it's not. Let me say it like this. I cannot remember the last time at all that I walked past somebody and smelled weed. No, because it just doesn't happen. And I'm pretty sure that other Dutch people in this chat, like Elder, for example, will back me up on that. I think it's more about, people do smoke it, obviously, but I think a lot of tourists like it, especially the UK ones. But I don't smoke it. I used to smoke when I was really young. I actually used to smoke it before I lived over here. So it's probably a good thing that I'd stopped smoking it before I moved over here, or otherwise I'd probably have been in trouble. But I've not touched it for many, many, many years. HRM Longines is an incredible vintage option, especially the L990 movement. It's top notch and can be bought well under $500. Also, yeah, I'm not 100% familiar with the one that you're referring to, but Longines as a brand, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I put them in the same kind of line, maybe a little higher than Tissot, but obviously you have like Omega and Tissot, but then I would say Longines is like in the middle, let's say, and yeah, really, really good brand, and their vintage stuff's awesome as well. Trevor says, I love the vintage watch collector confession video. Man, it was I think a couple of weeks ago, and I actually got an email about that. Somebody was not best pleased. They said that it was perverted. Don't know why, but yeah, I mean, it was a blatant mockumentary. Funny thing with that video as well was I posted it on a forum, And what surprised me was the amount of people that thought it was real and not like a joke, you know. But I was disappointed with YouTube with that video, because I really thought that video would have done a lot better than it actually did. So I was pretty disappointed with that, because yeah, I thought the narrative of it was, I thought it would have worked better than it did. So it didn't do very well, but I really appreciate that you watched it and you thought it was funny. Definitely for the watch enthusiasts, let's say. HRM says, I smelled weed at the hospital today. There were 3 guys going through the chemo smoking in front of the... Jesus. Damn. Matt Cameron, what is your biggest watch regret? Which watch got away? And when did you realize your mistake? That's an easy one. I got hold of many years ago. I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was a ridiculously good price. Ridiculously good price. A fully original Mark 1 Eniker Sherpograph Mark 1. With the, it had the paddle, I have pictures of it on my Instagram. It had paddle hands. It was fully all original Mark 1 with the tacky base 1000 bezel, inner bezel, and it also had the little special sub-dial chronograph hands, which are, yeah, maybe there's a technical name for them, but I don't know. So it had paddle, hour, and minute hands, but the sub-dial hands were like a little oval kind of shape, unique to the Mark 1. And I was offered a lot of money for it, and I owned the watch for 3 days. And I sold it because the money that I was offered was a lot. And I wasn't that clued up about Eniker back then. I mean, I regret it so much because my position in life is different to how it was quite a few years ago. So it was a good thing to do what I did at the time. But if I would still say it's my biggest regret, because getting hold of one of those is not easy. I mean, I have 2 Sherpographs in my collection, which one is quite rare. The other one is, yeah, it's rare-ish. I mean, they only made, I think, 500 of that model or 600. But the Mark 1 in that condition it was in as well. Yeah, that was my biggest regret, because I know I will never get that one again. But yeah, sometimes the offer was ridiculous and I had to just say yeah. But I owned it for literally 3 days. That was it. What else we got? A lot of guys talking about weed. Weed's completely legal in Canada and I smell it everywhere when I'm out walking my dogs. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's not fresh. Elder says, I like the weed more than the beer. Kame is also a good value for money as vintage watches go. Yeah. What was the name of this? I've forgotten the name of it now. There's a famous diver Kame watch, and I can't remember the model of it now. It evades me. Hey Yoji, good morning to you. Welcome. Francis says, I like watching bringing the real beater watches back to life, but leaving the dials and cases fairly original. Yeah, I don't like messing around with dials. I would say that restoration of restoring dials is an absolute art form and something I don't have that experience in. So it's something that I would not entertain. The most that I would do is try to clean it up a little bit myself with some Rodico, etc. I'll brush it off, but in regards to restoring a dial, no, I wouldn't do it. And even then, you have to be so careful, even when you're cleaning it, because if the lacquer's gone and the paint is exposed, then you run risk of removing the paint from the dial as well, because you have those 2 levels. And it's a risk. Relooming, things like that relooming a dial can be quite tricky, because obviously one mistake, removing the loom or reapplying the loom, and if you scratch the dial, then yeah, that's a big problem. So that's risky. But I'm okay with that. But restoring a dial, no. And at the other side of it as well, unless the dial is completely shot, then I wouldn't do it anyway, because I think it adds character to the watch completely. What does make me laugh though is this, how do you say it, like a little bit of a broad term in regards to patina. Like you see it on eBay sometimes. You see these completely destroyed watch dials and they're saying like, it's got a heavy, nice patina to it. No, that is just destroyed. Okay, end off. You know, there's patina and then there is just like wrecked. So yeah, there's a fine line, and I think patina gets used a little bit too much, let's say. What's your thoughts on Seiko automatic watches? Fine. Great workhorse watches, wear it every day, you would have no problems, I don't believe. Absolutely fine. As you know, if we're talking about a new one, I'm assuming you are, but absolutely fine. What reference book would you recommend? You need to be a bit more specific about that. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Damien Marley says, I'll apologize, I do have an Invicta on the way. I am hovering over the ban button right about now, but I will let it slide because I think the rest of the people in the chat will deal with you. It was cheap, and I'm tired of batteries. I don't like taking my pocket out of the house, pocket watch I'm assuming, out of the house, as I want it to be something I will pass on to my grandkids one day. Yeah, she should, and I think that's a really, really nice thing. I touched on this earlier on in the video. I think it's really awesome that people do that, like pass on watches, and I think that's what they're for. Enjoy it while you have it, and then give it to somebody else. Definitely. Matt Cameron asks, do you leave your initials servicing mark on the case back, or do you keep those cases pristine? I don't do that, no. And to be honest, other people that I know as well, other watchmaker guys or watch services, I don't know anybody that does that now. I think it's more of an old thing from back in the day. I genuinely don't know anybody in my circle, let's say, that does that, and it's not anything I would do. With the way that you can keep data records now a lot easier and things, I don't think there's a need for it. I do, of course, see a lot of markings in there, and a lot of them, I mean, you don't even know what it means because it's personal. It's not specifically a date, let's say. Sometimes I do see a specific date, which is nice because then you think, oh, okay, maybe. But even then, it's still not proof that that was. So if I opened a watch and I saw it was dated 1975 or something, like etched in, it still could have been serviced after 1975, but maybe somebody didn't write anything in there. But it's not something I do. Are you a fan of wristwatch revival? Yeah, I mean, I think he's got really lucky with what he's done, and I think he's good at what he does in regards to his narration. Everything I think is spot on, and I don't know a lot about Marshall, but what I do know is I think he does have like a radio kind of background, so he has that perfect voice for it. But the only thing I would say is, given the amount of time that he's been doing it, it still surprises me that he's not done a chronograph, let's say, and it's still hand wind automatic. And I just think, come on, man, step up. That's the only thing that I will say about it. Yes, please, as Elder says, if you are enjoying this AMA, let's say, or whatever we want to call this, can you hit that like button? I hate to ask, but somebody else did, so you have to do it. Turbo Power, hey HB, I'm sorry I'm late. It's not acceptable, bro. It's absolutely not acceptable. I don't care that you're on some scandalous different time zone. This is not acceptable. You had like 5 weeks notice about this, man. What else? Roaring 40s. Buddy, give me your barber info. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I do this myself. And this, I'm not even going to say where it is because I know that the Dutch people are going to know what it is and they're going to laugh at me. So I'm actually not going to say. Let's say that it's the hair I get done is like just a commercial place, but I usually just get the sides done. But the beard, I do it all myself. I used to have a guy years ago when I lived in a different city in the Netherlands. I used to see a barber there, a Turkish barber, and that's another thing. If you're gonna have your beard done, see the Turkish guys. Those guys will do it right. Seriously, they will really do it. They'll get your lines good and everything. Turkish guys know what they're doing, definitely. What else? What else? What else? Monty has said, ever consider a podcast? I have thought about a podcast, actually. It's funny you should mention that. I was thinking about this the other week. But the only problem with the podcast was, I was thinking, how much can you actually have a podcast about just talking watches? Or maybe it would be something that would be enjoyable just to rant on. Because I do like to rant on a bit, as you guys notice. I do. It's true. I really do. But it is on my mind. But what I saw was in YouTube, you cannot just, you have to do it elsewhere, let's say, and then you can add it into YouTube. So then the other option I thought is maybe if I did stuff like this, I could then compile it and do like an audio version separately, for when people are in the car. Because I listen to a lot of podcasts myself as well. I really do. Main two that I listen to at the moment, I listen to Bill Burr's podcast. I really like Bill Burr. He makes me laugh. And I also like to listen to the Diary of a CEO. I like some of the guests that he gets on. He had one a while ago with Jimmy Carr. I like a lot of stand-up comedy, but I've never been a fan of Jimmy Carr. I just cannot get on with his comedy. But I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the podcast with him, and it was just so interesting to learn about his life and how smart he is and the stuff he was coming out with. It didn't change my opinion, let's say, about his style of comedy, but yeah, I had mad respect for the guy after watching that, definitely. Mark says, the two interviews you did are almost like a podcast. Yeah, I suppose when I had other people on, I don't want to just do it just about me. I think it would get stale pretty quick. But with other people, yeah, it's an idea. It is an idea, and it's definitely things that I want to evolve the channel, like, let's say, I want to move it going forward, let's say. J James says, my wrist is ready for Omega. Patience, son. Patience. Relax. Rustic. You know what? I'm going to just say it like this, yeah, right? I want to say good luck to everybody. I will show the watch, by the way. I've got it here. But what I was going to say is, I have no say in regards to who wins it. And whoever wins it, I just honor it and I post it out there and that's it. But if somebody asked me this the other day and they said, like, if you could choose somebody to win it, and I said, it's not that I would choose somebody to win it, but I would personally just like it if it was somebody that had been around like from the beginning, because I know there's a lot of subscribers that have been subscribed to my channel from when I had like 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers. And I notice this. I notice, like, when I do live streams or whatever, I see a lot of familiar faces, and I really appreciate that. It means I must be doing something right, or they're enjoying the content, and I like that. So that's what I was saying about that. But obviously, full transparency and good luck to all. But I have it here, and I don't know if people saw this on this. So it's actually got a really nice new strap on it as well. It's not an original strap, obviously, but it's a nice, I think it's a German-made leather strap, but it has got an Omega buckle on it as well, on the top of it as well. So that's really cool. I did make sure that it has got that. Right, I'm going to do this draw in a couple of minutes because I don't want to be on all night. What else everyone was saying? Watch me if you can, watch repairs, stories and more. I serviced and repaired a few Seiko automatic chronographs in the last few months. They've all been the 6139 movement. That's really good to know. It's a nice movement as well. Really, really nice movement. The way he said son is like Arthur Morgan from RTD2. Relax, son. I want the Omega 2, of course you do. Michael says, good morning, how are you doing this fine weekend? Just now able to tune in. Doing all right, but it's the back end of the day for us. Thoughts on Swatch and their monopolization of the Swiss watch industry. I don't like that I can have a Hamilton, a Tissot, and a Satina, and they'd all have the same movement. I could talk about this all night, so I'm going to break it down into like 30 seconds to not bore you. My personal thoughts are, I'm not so much bothered about the part you said about the same movement, because the movements that at least you know are inside it are really good movements. So that's fine. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me, and I remember Carl Slap from Chronoglide touched on it as well, and he's absolutely right with what he said, is that Swatch took the monopoly, especially in regards to independent watchmakers and the parts, etc., like ETA movement parts, the way that I could not, for example, contact them and say, oh, I need some parts for this Omega watch. They would say, go away. No, it's not happening. And I don't like that because, and it also surprises me that they get away with it. What I'm trying to say is like, so I have a VW Golf, and I don't have to go to the VW dealer to service my car. I could go to Bob's Auto Garage or whatever, you know. Maybe I knew the guy, I don't know. But he could get the parts that I need, you know, to fix my car. And it obviously would be cheaper. What I'm saying is, as a consumer, I should have, or even myself, I should be able to choose where I want to send it. Like, and for me, I'm not a fan of it, let's say. And don't even get me started on that cash in like Moonswatch kind of thing as well, because that's a whole different conversation. Maybe I'll do a podcast about that. Where do you get most of your projects for the channel? eBay or from viewers? A bit of both. A bit of both. But of late I've noticed that YouTube has helped, and then but I'm very selective. That's the other thing. I am very, very selective. I get a lot of emails, and I'm very selective about what I want to do, if that makes sense. One thing that I will say as well is that I get a lot of emails, and to the point where sometimes it gets irritating. I like to help people, as you know. I mean, I do. I'd say that I'm pretty straight up, and if I can help somebody out, but there's limits, you know, where you think, okay, you know, this is taking the piss or whatever. I would say on average, I get around 150 emails a month about Enica watches. And some of them can be really specific questions, which is really detailed. But then I can get questions where it's like, oh, I don't know how to open my case back. I tried using this ball, but it won't open. So I will say, yeah, you need to use like a professional case back opener. Oh, do you have a picture of that? Can you send me a link for that? I'm not Google, bro. You know what I mean? Like I have stuff to do. So I can get a bit irritated with laziness, let's say, you know, because that kind of stuff you could quite easily sort out yourself. You know, it's like, I'm not your mom, you know, I'm not going to walk you through this thing, but like specific questions, which I know is not easy to answer, then yeah, of course I will help out as much as I can. Watch me if you can. I'm working on a Landeron based chronograph that looks pretty grimy inside. It looks more complicated than the Seiko movements I've worked on. What opinions do you have of Landeron? Well, I mean, Landeron, they were very popular, obviously, in like the 40s, 50s, same with like Venus movements. They're okay movements. There was like the 148, the 248. I think there's some other references as well, but they evade me, obviously. I can't remember everything. But yeah, I don't think they're that complicated to work on compared to like a Valjoux. It's not that much of a difference. It's just, yeah, I mean, just take your time, take reference pictures, for example. If it's something I've not worked on and I'm a little unsure of, I'll think, okay, I'll take a photograph of that just in case, you know, like maybe I will forget which way that spring went round. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I think that if anything, you're being more careful by doing that, because things like that you don't want to make mistakes on, let's say. So I wouldn't say that I don't think, I mean, you sound like you know what you're doing, let's say, so I don't think you're going to have much problems. Using you as Google, not fresh. No, sir, it's not fresh at all.